Hey, if you're interested in a Apollo 30 litre snub nose, I'm doing an unboxing today. Hope you like it. G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Pierre and this is Simple Home Brew. Today I'm doing a bit of an experiment. I'm trying to use a microphone in the cap up here. I don't know if you can see that. Something a bit different. I'm using my favourite brewing cap, which was supplied by Little John. Thank you to Little John. Much appreciated. Still love it, and I wear it all the time. Today I'm doing an unboxing of a 30 litre Apollo Snub Nose fermenter. It's a pressure fermenter that comes with every feature you could probably ever want. I went down to Melbourne, had a trip there just to go see a few brew shops, check a few places out, like the big ones at Keg King and Kegland and all those other places. But I ended up at Keg King, and that's as far as I got. Basically, I walked in the door, got a great reception, and they really gave me the tour of their huge warehouse, which is quite impressive. Daniel and the guys down there kindly gave me this snub nose free of charge. They don't expect anything for it. They just wanted me to have a play of it and use it, and I decided I'm going to put it on video. So I'm going to unbox it today and see what's in it and assemble it. Hopefully you guys will get something out of it. So yeah, I've got this snub nose, and it's hopefully you guys can see me on the cameras here. Got them all set up, ready to go. Hopefully you can see it. We'll open her up and we'll see what's in there, huh? Now that was a knife. I found metal detecting. Alright, so it's unboxed. So we're now got our snubby, a little plastic fermenter. That's all wrapped up in plastic. I'll pop that aside for a sec. Ooh. And get everything else out of the box. So we have a thermal well, our cage to hold the fermenter in place. I'll just pop that out of the way. Looks like the bag got it broken. Okay. I'll get that box out of the way. So what we've got is a silicone hose and a bunch of parts to put in there as well. So you got your seal, by the look of it, your seal around your lid. Obviously your lid, which looks like it has the internal seal for the 115mm opening, which is absolutely awesome. You can get your arm in there. Look, the guys down there recommended that you don't put your arm in there and get a cloth and wipe it out. Make sure you just clean it with a cleaner. And try not to wipe it. You don't want to scratch your surface. You want it to last as long as possible. I'll pop that aside. Your collar. Oh, we've got a stainless steel filter. Okay, I'm going to use that. That will, I'm sure, get attached to our little floaty ball. I would say attach that to this one, and that will connect to our silicone tube. Anyway, I'll assemble that later, and we'll work on that. What else do we have? Get these plastic bags out of the way. We have your serving post and your gas post. Now, the gas post has a little notch in the side to denote gas, and the serving post doesn't. That's pretty much how you know the difference between them. We'll assemble them in a minute. This is your, I don't know, you can put your airlock in there. You can put your pressure relief valve in there, PRV. That goes into what they are calling our hop port. And you got your PRV valves, extra PRV valves by the look of it. So you got a, what is it? That's a 10, 15 and a 30. I'm not sure I got that in the right order. But they're designed to let off pressure once it reaches that peak, which, yeah, a bit scary to rely on if you've got a really, really strong beer that's going to produce a lot of foam. It can block these and stop them from doing their job, which is fine. You know, if you're worried about it, put something else on. But I've been using other products and they're just as dangerous. Everything gets blocked. You just got to keep your eye on stuff. Right. Let's put it together, shall we? Looking at this cage or cradle, looks like you can put your fermenter on top or both ways. It's got little holes here, as you can see. Now, when I went into their warehouse, there was one with wheels in it. And I'd say you can pop wheels on this, so you can wheel it around your house or wheel it around your brew shed, and make it a bit easier than carrying it all the time. Yeah, 20 litres can be, fairly heavy to carry around too much. And you don't want to. But now I saw a video on this, and the guys did it this way up, so I'm going to assemble it this way up myself. We'll take the plastic bag out. Look at that. That is, my God, that's super strong. Wow. It's a thick material. Feels all right. It's got a couple of handles here. Apparently carries much more than what the capacity of the actual fermenter is, so they're pretty safe to use. They kind of look flimsy, but they're definitely not. Okay, so we've got some strips on for the sides for your literage, so you know how much you have in your fermenter. I'll put them on later. And a little gauge for its thermometer. It's not overly accurate, but that's why we have a thermal well, so we can actually put our probe inside, which I'll show you in a sec. Okay, what we got? Okay, we'll put the serving and gas ports in. These look like they already have the seal for the dip tube already inserted, already stated. I might just get some spray sanitizer and quickly, if I'm going to use it, I'll also make sure that it is sanitized, ready to go. And sanitizer helps lubricate things as well. So I throw one on one side, doesn't matter which side, you just throw it in, stick it in so it all seats nicely, and then chuck your poppet. And now it's as you can see, the spring has a tapered feel about it. The bottom is wider than the top, so you put the top where the poppet sits. So you got the long bit goes into the small bit at the top. Does that make sense? Probably not, but anyway, we'll be right. Again, I'll spray some sanitizer in there. I'm not going to do any lubricant because I didn't see anybody do that. It seems like I'm one of the only ones that does that. And then we seat it in the top and then screw it on by hand. Now, you got to remember, this is not straight. This is stainless steel going onto a plastic thread. Now, the guys on the videos say or state to, I probably should put that there, makes it easier, doesn't it? They state to make sure you turn it backwards. Now, Daniel on Keg King's videos says to start your thread, go backwards until you can feel that the threads line up like that. See? Once they do, it'll screw on nicely, just beautifully. So, I don't know if you can see that. I'll try that again. So you screw it backwards until you feel the threads line up like that. And that way, you're sure you're going to get it on straight every time. And I noticed too, to do it finger tight. There's none of this reefing on it with a spanner, just finger tight and that's it. Now we have a thermal well to put in. Now the thermal well should come with comes with a little rubber seal there. We just throw that in the end. Again, I'm going to just quickly put a bit of sanitizer on the end of that, just in case. And it's probably not going to be a problem. Oh, look at that, just thread it on real easy. I went to do the backwards thing, and it just lines up real easy. Look at that. We have one more item to put on this at the moment, and that's a rubber seal. This one here. I don't know what the green one is for. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, there's no actual instructions, so, but the red seal goes on the outer area of the lid. And these are great, these internal sealed lids. They're just firm, really good quality. And of course I'm going to spray a bit of sanitizer around that as well, because I'm going to test this unit before using it. I'm going to make sure it's pressurized properly. And there you go. So that's on. Done. So this green one, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if it has to go, well, it's possible actually. I think it does. I think it's got something to do with this. God knows if it does or doesn't. But at the moment, we're not using it. So I'm not sure where that goes. I'm sure someone out there will tell me. I'll keep that aside. Next part is, could it be that? Could it be that? It is. I think I figured out where that rubber seal goes. There you go. Not sure that's correct, but it seems to work for me. Alrighty, next bit. We need to add our floaty and our filter to our silicone tube. That obviously goes on the side that you want to serve from. So when you serve, if you look at what you've got here, you've got a notch on one side, you have a notch here on one side, and no notch on this one. So all you do is just throw your dip tube, your silicone tube on this serving side. Now, sometimes you can get that on. I put a bit of sanitizer on there to make it easier to get on. You know how it is. Need a bit of lubricant sometimes. So that's on, and apparently you cut this about 60 mil from the top of your dip tube, or the bottom of your dip tube, but it's upside down. So I will do that now. Right. And that's cut. So I've cut that around about the distance they suggested. Now I need to put my filter on. Now I'm putting this together now. It's not necessary, I don't have to do it now, but I'm doing it so I know how it all goes together. There you go, so the ball floats in. That will sit on the bottom. I'll place this over there, like so. And when the fluid is floating, kind of wants to be longer, doesn't it? Okay. So what I can tell is, yeah, it goes right to the bottom. When you ferment, yeast builds up in the base, and the pickup tube will sit on top of the yeast. The filter seems to be in a really good position. So when your ball floats, your filter will sit nicely in your fluid and hopefully not pick up too much gunk. If I find it's too short and doesn't pick up enough fluid, I will lengthen the hose just a little bit. Anyway, but I think that's about right. So that's assembled, ready to go. We're going to pressure test it, but first we're going to do the calibration. We're going to put the water in it. I'll pop the lid on. We'll just quickly. Now that's another thing. These can be difficult to get off, which I've always found. So we're going to do the calibration on the side here. As I pointed out on Keg King's website, to place this strip on, there is a seam just here. Use that as a guide to get it nice and straight. To put this water increment strip on, there's a little red notch. You can see a little red line up here. You can line that up with your seal or your join at the neck of the actual fermenter, so just in here. It's not going to be overly accurate. If you want to be much more accurate, you can fill it up with water to whatever literage you feel is the right literage. Doing it to 1 litre will help you be more accurate. Once you go to, like, say, 15 litres, you've got a chance of mucking it up more, so you're better off doing it at a lower literage. Line the measuring strip with the increments that are on here with your literage, but you'll need to balance this perfectly so that everything is nice and even, so you can actually get the water line perfect, and throw it on. But you know, I measure my water before it goes in. I don't use this completely, or I don't rely on this too much. So I'm going to just put this on, and the idea that they come up with was to place it underneath and just use the seam on the actual fermenter to guide your way down. So I'm going to do that now. And because this is so clean at the moment, actually I might give that a wipe. Make sure that your fermenter is, when you put it on, make sure it's super clean. Because what happens is your seal or your increment strip won't really go on well. So I'll peel it back. So I'll just get a little bit off the end. Try not to touch it because you'll get your fingerprint on there. Nobody wants your fingerprints, except unless they want to steal your money. I'll do it to a little bit so I can actually get a bit off. And then I will hopefully you can see over there. It's not a very good angle, I'm sorry. Line, a red line with, holy crap, that's strong. That'll do. With the lid part, oh my god, with the lid join, the neck joint, line it up with the neck joint, and then you can pull the strip and line it up with the seam as you go down. Not that I'm doing a good job of it. And on that, I'll just throw this on. It's the LCD thermal gauge, so I'll pop that on too. I'll just put it anywhere. It doesn't really matter so much. If I have it down low, it'll pick up even if I have something tiny or a small batch. Keg King also supply a sticker to put on the side of your fermenter. Now they recommend putting it on to have it as a good reminder not to make mistakes. I'm choosing not to, as I really do know what the minimums and maximums of these things are. So just so you know, it's 35 psi max. It's 55 degrees Celsius, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't go over 30 degrees Celsius. It'll soften it. It just won't do it any good. That's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit or so. All right, that's our Apollo assembled. Now I'm going to do a bit of a check on all my connections and joins. Now the problem I've had with, oh, that came out nice and easy. There's something that hasn't happened before. I'm just going to put some water in it. I'll turn the water on. So now I've got the water. I've got 2 litres set up for this. Just going to fill it up 2 litre. Oh, I'll check my increment bar too. It's probably out completely, but we'll know. Oh well, I'll be buggered. It's actually quite right on. 2 litres. Unbelievable. Okay, happy with that. Throw these guys in. And we're going to pressurise it and see if there's any leaks. Now I'm going to have to clean this and sanitise it, of course. But this is just for assembly purposes. Because my next video on this will be brewing with it. Alright. Put some gas in it. Oh, she just hit my knee. Now remember, we've got a gas post, which has a notch in it, and the serving post, which doesn't. First, I'll depressurise my gas bottle. Pressurise it too. Oh, just... Ha! Something's leaking big time. Oh, that. Hang on. I've just got to put a pressure relief valve in. Because, you know, when you try to pressure stuff and there's a hole, nothing works. So I've just put the blue one in. Oh, we'll check it out now. Try that one again, eh? I'm going to pressurise it to about 10. Hear it creak? There you go. That's about 10 psi. I've got some spray sanitizer, so I'll spray some sanitizer around it, see if we have any leaks. There you go, the PRV's leaking. Now that's because that's a 10 psi and I've got it to 10 psi. That's a good thing, it means the PRV works. It also means that my sanitizer works as well. I'll just flood this a little bit so I can get some... There's no bubbles coming out anywhere else, so it's really good. That's not leaking. So of course it's a pressure, it's a 10 psi pressure relief valve, and it's going to let pressure out at 10 psi. So, it's well over. Okay, so I was at 15 psi. So there you go. Now we know that the pressure relief valve works. See if it leaks now. Nope. We're on a winner. So she doesn't leak. It's in pretty good nick. It works. I will probably try a higher pressure just to try that out. So I'm going to just pop in the 35 psi one, the red one, and pressurize it again and bring the pressure up a bit higher and just check the seals and the fermentation. I'm not going to want to ferment it any higher than 20 psi. It's pretty high as it is. So I'm going to bring it up and just try again and see if it leaks at 30 psi. So we'll increase that pressure. Let it settle in. We'll bring it up to 20 psi. All right, that's 20 psi. I hear a leak. No, I don't. Nothing leaking. Look at that. We're on a winner, guys. Nothing's leaking. So this is ready to start fermenting in. Now I could have tested it at 30 psi, but what's the point? I mean, I can bring it to 30 psi and waste more gas, but 20 psi is more than enough for pressure fermenting. I always pressure ferment around 12 to 15 psi anyway. So I've tested it. It works. It's perfect for what I want. I am going to use this in my fridge. I'm going to ferment at 18 degrees Celsius and use the thermal well as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Just a quick disclosure. I didn't get paid for this video. It's not a paid promotion. It was given to me by Daniel and the guys down at Keg King. I paid them a visit and scored a little bit out of it, I suppose you could say it that way. And because of my videos, people can get to see what it's like, and that's all I care for. Love it. It's a good unit so far. Everything works fine, no leaks, and the design is beautiful. Cheers. We'll see you in the next one.